Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Storytime with Rob. I'm so glad you could join me today. And last night I was sitting there eating a bowl of cereal before I went to bed, and I was asking myself, man, I know there's something I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting about something. Has any of you looked at a camera or a calendar lately? Today is Friday. Not only Friday, but it's Festive Fabulous Friday, Self-Improvement Saturday. And so I had to go to work, come up with something to share with you today, and I hope you enjoy it because it's actually kind of a fun one. So this next story is about a man working hard to achieve his revenge. I know, sounds silly, right? In the movie The Princess Bride, which I've talked about once before, but I thought this was very telling for today. This individual, is not the hero of the story, and as such, hardly anyone asked how he got to be this way, but the story would not be the same without him in it. It is the greatest love story of all times. A classic tale of true love, a high adventure. There's fencing, fighting, torture, poison, true love, hate, revenge, giants, hunters, bad men, good men, beautiful ladies, snakes, spiders, which I particularly hate, beasts of all nature and descriptions, pain, death, how could we forget pain and death, brave men, coward men, strongest men, chases, escapes, lies, truths, passion, and even miracles. And for the greatest love story, you need the greatest sword fighter in the world. And I'm talking, of course, about Inigo Montoya. Who thought I would be talking about Inigo Montoya? This is Inigo Montoya, for those of you that don't remember or haven't seen the story. Of course, his classic famous line, "Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father, prepare to die," which is what he said multiple times. In the movie, he is just there to fight, to lose, to sink into despair, only to come back and save the day. But in the book, there's a small part about him and how he became this way. In this small part in Inigo's story about the loss of his father and the hunt for the six-fingered man lie hidden in the story about how he became the greatest sword fighter in the world. Here's an excerpt from the book, not the movie, the book. "I cannot stay," Inigo told him. "I am only here to ask you a question. As you know, I have spent the last 10 years learning. Now I have come for you to tell me that I'm ready." Ready for what? What in the world have you been learning? "The sword." "Madness," said Jest. "You have spent 10 years of your life just learning to fence?" "No, not just learning to fence," Inigo answered. "I did many other things as well." "Tell me." "Well," Inigo began, "10 years is what? About 3,600 days? And that's about, I figured this out once. So I remember pretty well about 86,000 hours. Well, I always made it a point to get 4 hours of sleep per night. That's 14,000 hours right there, leaving me perhaps 72,000 hours to account for." You slept?" "I'm with you. What else?" "Well, I squeezed rocks." I'm sorry, my hearing sometimes fails me. It sounded like you just said that you squeezed rocks. "To make my wrists strong so I could control the sword. Rocks like apples. That size, you know. I would squeeze them in each hand for perhaps 2 hours a day. And I would spend another 2 hours a day skipping and dodging and moving quickly so that my feet would be able to get me into position to deliver properly the thrust of the sword." "Well, that's another 14,000 hours. I'm down to now, I believe, 58,000 now. Well, I always sprinted 2 hours each day as fast as I could. So my legs, as well as being quick, would also be strong. And that gets me down to about 50,000 hours, I would say. Yes, examine the young man before him. Blade thin, 6 feet in height, straight as a sapling, bright-eyed and taut. Even motionless he seemed whippet quick. And these last 50,000 hours, these have been spent studying the sword? Inigo nodded. Where? Wherever I could find a master. Venice, Bruges, Budapest. Well, I could have taught you all that here. True, but you care for me. You would not have been ruthless. You would have said, "Excellent parry, Inigo. Now that's enough for today. Let's go have supper." That does sound like me, Yes admitted. But why was it so important? Why was it worth so much of your life? Because I could not fail him again. Fail who? My father. I have spent all these years preparing to find the six-fingered man and kill him in a duel. But he is a master. Yes. He said as much, and I saw the way his sword flew at Domingo, and I must not lose that duel when I find him again. So now I have come to you. You know swords and swordsmen. You must not lie. I am ready. If you say I am, I will seek him through the world. If you say so, I will spend another 10 years and another 10 after that if it is needed. Already as a boy he showed talent. But talent is not enough. Hard work, determination, goals, squeezing rocks, willing to spend 10 years and 10 more if needed, and 10 more until you are ready. This is how you can achieve greatness. When you see him jumping from rock to rock, fighting with his left hand, you don't think about 14,000 hours spent squeezing rocks and jumping around. It lies hidden in a small part of the story. But that has to come first. Now think about what Wesley had to go through in order to beat him. Not to mention Fezzik and Vizzini. You know, one of the favorite quotes I had that kind of sums this up, I guess, was from Bruce Lee, and he said this: "I fear not the man who practiced 10,000 kicks, but I do fear the man who practiced one kick 10,000 times." Years ago when I coached tennis, I had many of my students come and tell me, "Coach, I've practiced for hours on my backhand and I just don't seem to be getting any better at it." "Doesn't practice make perfect?" they would ask. Then I would ask them what they have been doing to practice. Afterwards, I would tell them, no, practice does not make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. You can't just go through the motions. You must give it your all, push yourself to be more than you were yesterday. That stands true for just about anything we do in life. Now get to work. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you have a festive, fabulous Friday, self-improvement Saturday, and a wonderful weekend. And until tomorrow, of course, be safe.